bliss. I want to activate within myself thoughts about things that feel good. I want the dominant thoughts that I think to be inside the vortex kind of thoughts. I want the majority of the beliefs that I hold to match the beliefs that Source holds. I want to relieve myself of the flawed premises that I picked up along the physical trail. I want to let all other people live as they want to live. I no longer want to use anyone or anything as my excuse to be outside the vortex. I'm an in the vortex person. I'm someone who wants to be in the vortex, but I'm still physically focused, and while my Source is always in the vortex, I'm willing to come out and play and put more good stuff in. But now I understand the relationship. I understand what emotions are. I understand the vibrational frequencies between who I am and who I'm being. I love the emotional guidance system that is within me. I love feeling my way into the vortex. I love knowing the well-being of the vortex. I love knowing that all truly is well with me. I love feeling the worthiness of my beingness and the prosperity of my being and the vitality of my being and the clarity of my being and the knowing of my being. I love being. Don't you now know more about the vortex than you've ever known? Don't you understand your relationship with it? Don't you know what your dominant priority is? Don't you understand your guidance system better? Don't you want to think the thoughts that feel better? Aren't you willing to be nicer to yourself when you're not in the vortex? Aren't you willing to let everybody else off the hook who hasn't been trying that hard to make you feel good? Aren't you ready to take responsibility for how you feel? Don't you sort of feel empowered to do it? Don't you love the feeling of being out of the vortex and then consciously, deliberately focusing yourself in? Don't you love coming into your own power? Don't you really like knowing that the universe has your back, that everything that you want's all queued up for you and it's just a matter of focusing yourself into it? Don't you now, from inside the vortex, appreciate more of those outside the vortex contrasting experiences that have caused you to expand? Don't you like knowing that you will constantly expand? Don't you like knowing that it's going to be a constant tuning up? Don't you like that it's going to be a constant tuning up? Don't you like that it's going to be a constant tuning up? Well, that's the part you don't like so much, because you keep thinking you want to get in the vortex and get it done and live happily ever after. And we want you to hear something that is hard to hear, but it is so, so true. And that is, it's getting into the vortex that is the rush of life. Just like when you're hungry and you eat something, it tastes better than when you've been eating all day long. When you're out of the vortex and then you work your way in, that's that feeling of motion forward, you see. You just don't want to make a career out of step one. You want to make a career out of step 3, which is moving into the vortex. And each time you're in there, then you can look at those people who you felt were responsible for your not being in, and now they look beautiful to you because they gave you the reason to expand, and in your moving into your expansion, you are thrilled with everyone involved. So you have this person, and they just harass you into expansion. But then you can't get your eyes off of them because they're just so in your face and so inappropriate. So the very person that caused your